Hey, welcome back, listeners, consumers, however you're getting me. We're going to do a little cold open here for the second episode. So, as many of you know, I'm a TikToker. You probably found me via TikTok in the Chris Collinsworth, Tony Romo impression videos. So I get a lot of feedback in the comments, and I'll always engage, by the way. So feel free to keep firing away. But a lot of feedback circles around, hey, do you ever feel like you're going insane doing these skits in public? And the answer is yes, often. I mean, how could you not? Don't get me wrong. When I do it here, it's pretty okay. I'm in the safe comfort of my house. As many takes as I need to get it done. It's Jim, I don't know. Like, in order to get that every time, needs multiple takes. Doing that in public, especially at a place like the zoo. Chris Collinsworth and Romo go to the zoo. Multiple takes, just laughing to myself. Yeah, I feel a little crazy. Especially on the carousel. I'm on an ostrich laughing to myself. And I look up, I see just a bunch of parents staring at me, wondering, what's the plan here, bro? Yeah, I feel crazy doing that sometimes. And it's so fun. And I love the gratification I get from those videos. But make no mistake, I hope I come off as a somewhat normal dude-ish. Well, obviously not completely there all the way. But the point is, yes, I do feel crazy. The Dune, Romo, and Collinsworth video, that's when I really started to feel it. I can feel the public breath on my neck. Literally, I'm in the sand with a freaking cord in my nose trying to be Paul Atreides. But I may have looked like the average critter that wanders Venice Beach somewhat intoxicated off of something exciting. Multiple times, I had to circle back and tell people who are walking by me, I'm not crazy, don't worry. Which pretty much makes the whole situation worse. By and large, if you have to tell someone I'm not crazy randomly, that's insane. I swear, guys, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. On that note, please enjoy this podcast episode where I talk to no one but myself. Holy shit. Now, here's a guy. God, that's insufferable. Welcome back, everyone. And if this is your first time, welcome to the show. I'm Henry. This is Now Here's a Guy with Henry Markin. I'm the guy. I'm right here. Probably guessed where the inspiration from the name comes from. Stop it. Syllabus week is done. We're on to the next phase in podcasting where it's just the meat and potatoes. It's Tuesday night. However you're hearing me, whatever day it is, I don't care. Hope your day and hope your moment is going great. I'm not wearing the coat and tie like last time. I'm going sport mode. I got a Kings polo on right now. I'm just rocking a tragic fan base. Hopefully tonight's not a tragic episode. My God, it's good to be back. We got a new little setting. I put the lighting to sex mode. Nope, that's not true. My manager said, let's make it more professional. Let's dim the lights. It's showtime. And that's right. So feedback is much appreciated. If you felt like last week's lighting was better with, I guess, more mainstream, just all the lights on at full blast, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to stick to this because I kind of like the vibes in here, even though it's just me. Anyways, syllabus week is done. We could just talk about sports now, and that's great because sports can be fucking hilarious. What's so funny right now? Well, I'll tell you what, folks. You've heard of Victor Wembanyama. Guess what? There's another Wemby out there. Now, here's a guy who's got a younger brother. I know, Chris, I know. So his name is Oscar. Oscar is 16 years old, and he's already 6'8". So just remember, Victor, who's been a marvel in the NBA. I mean, he's averaging 30 a night. He's 7 feet tall, plus he's got an 8-foot wingspan at least. He can dribble like a guard. He can defend anyone. And he seems to be jumping, dunking from half court. It's sort of like when he takes off, get down, get cover kind of vibe. He's going to tear this league in half. As long as the Spurs don't deliberately fuck this up. Listener, he plays for the San Antonio Spurs, and they're horrible. If you're not aware, they're just awful. As long as they don't suck and they can physically get him the ball, they're going to be okay and somewhat decent for the next years, I think. But just when you thought that his fantastic French fable couldn't get any more fabulous, guess what, folks? There's another. Oscar, 16 years old, 6'8". Like, first of all, who are the parents? Who's Mr. and Mrs. Wembenyama? Like, is it a normal mom and the father's the Yeti? Like, seriously, that gene pool is astonishing. They're just pumping out NBA prototypes. My God. I don't know the credentials and the demographics of the parents, but I got to assume they're not of planet Earth. Nope. Great movie, by the way. So, in regards to Wemby being good, Victor Wembanyama, I look at a couple of key factors. One, obviously, his height and his ability. It's unfathomable how tall, smooth, and talented he is. He's literally a taller version of Kevin Durant, and he's so young. He's literally a rookie. He probably hasn't had a Busch Light yet. I mean, there's only so many beers you've actually tried. Like, once you get drinking age, you can, extend your palate and try the extraordinary, get into the IPAs and stuff like that. But I'm willing to bet this guy hasn't had, the Busch Lights or a PBR. There's got to be multiple beers that just, he hasn't explored yet. Anyways, obviously, he's incredibly skilled. But in regards to Wemby being good, there's something else you got to look at. I want to focus on the big brother, little brother situation because I think that can't be overlooked. So, listener, if you have a little brother, if you are a little brother or you are a big brother, whatever you are, I don't have a brother. I have two sisters who I love dearly. But I can't relate in the situation. But my dad and my uncle have explained this to me relentlessly over holidays. And I know the competition is real. Like, it doesn't stop when you grow up and get real jobs. The competition is always there. Big brother's job in life is to destroy little brother by any means necessary, to keep beneath always. That is their job. That is their purpose. And through this struggle, life happens. So that's priority one. Everything that happens in life is because of this struggle. So, job, competition creates better opportunities to find a mate, hotter girlfriends, more opportunities to get better salaries, more opportunities. Like, everything comes back to, I got to beat my brother. That's how I read the situation. Being someone who doesn't have a brother, just looking up at people I know who have brothers. And it's hard to admit this too, but the psychological warfare, it's always a Cold War. So Victor Wembanyama has a little brother, and he's probably spent his entire life shutting him down, crushing him, making him feel small, just diminishing him to the last atom. Like, cell by cell, you are nothing. But as you know, pressure creates diamonds. Sometimes this tightness struggle, this amazing forever battle creates an unlikely champion. Sometimes little brother wins or comes out of the ashes stronger than he ever would have been. I'm talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. I bet you didn't know his brother Thanasis is older than Giannis. I bet you thought Giannis was the big brother because he's tall and strong and probably one of the best players on earth. I bet you thought Thanasis was the jokey, memeable little brother. No. Thanasis is older than Giannis by a couple years. And what's crazy about this is I think Giannis's success comes directly from trying to beat Thanasis, because Thanasis gets laughed at on social because obviously it's probably pretty tough being Giannis's brother when he's putting up 40, 20, and 10 every night. Thanasis is still very talented. Make no mistake. He is from Greece, just like his brothers. But before Giannis was a thing, Thanasis was the picture of Greece basketball and kind of floated around the G League, which in any event is an incredible accomplishment. Make no mistake. But Thanasis became a meme only recently. Throughout his life, he was probably the fucking man. And I bet you this made Giannis exactly the man he is today. It is little brother's job to try with everything they have to get past the grip of big brother. And that's the truth. So I bet you Oscar Wembanyama may be so fucking good because Victor probably spent his entire life punishing him. You don't believe me? You don't think this big brother, little brother thing doesn't exist? That's fine. You don't have to believe me. I'm just telling you, look in the annals of sports. I can't believe annals is another way to describe history. That's crazy. I mean, considering that another form of anal also describes something deep and probably shouldn't always be explored completely. My point is, look at the library of what we have to analyze in terms of brothers battling each other in sports. It wouldn't surprise me if Big Brother wins most of the time, whether it's head-to-head matchups on the field or even on the sidelines, like Jim and John Harbaugh. Remember the Harbaugh Super Bowl? There was no way the 49ers were ever going to beat the Ravens that year. No way. Because it was a chess match that was already won because Big Brother knew Little Brother's every move. It didn't matter that Kaepernick was the second coming of Michael Vick, so we thought. It didn't matter that our defense with Patrick Willis and Deshaun Goldson and Bowman was Hall of Fame level. It didn't matter that Ray Lewis probably was missing a few steps being old. It didn't matter. None of that mattered because John was always going to win because Big Brother just squeezes the life out of Little Brother. You can't really apply that to the Kelsey brothers because, again, there's not a lot of control that Jason, Big Brother, has over Travis. They play the same side of the ball offense, so it's not like they're going head-to-head matchups, so they can't really impact the game in a competition against each other. However, there is no way in hell Jason Kelsey will ever let Travis Kelsey beat him in any hand-to-hand combat or physical altercation. And you can be like, well, that's because Jason Kelsey's a lineman. That's because he's huge. No shit. I bet you that he is that way because that's what it took to beat Little Brother, is to just beat him with weight and size. I bet you the way he is right now is a culmination of figuring out how to beat Little Brother for the past, 30 plus years of their lives? Think about that, folks. Now, here's a guy who's thought about this. Chris, just 1 minute, please. Jesus. Anyways, that's my rant on Big Brother, Little Brother. Starts back with the Wembanyamas, which is crazy that there's another one. I mean, they're just coming out like rabbits. But yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why Wemby at the end of his career can't be in the GOAT conversation, except, well, I will say this. In order to be a GOAT, and this is all so subjective. This is, guys, the show is not, oh, LeBron and Jordan, the guys, he'll never beat Jordan because, no, that's not what this show is. We're not going to try to copy First Take in that talking head peacock death match. Good Lord. It's not what this is. This is much more intellectual. I'm talking to myself here. Table for one, if you do want to be in the GOAT conversation, which is a very real thing, finding the definitive GOAT is a task that I don't think we'll ever be able to do. No matter how many AI friggin' simulations we run or arguments we have with our friends at the lunch table where people end up in tears or it gets physical. I don't think you can convince someone in a conversation that Jordan is better than LeBron and vice versa. But I definitely think to be included in the conversation, you need certain criteria, which of course those two gentlemen have. I also think you need to be able to talk some shit. Actions obviously speak way louder than words. That's why Patrick Beverley and Draymond Green are not in the GOAT conversation, but they're in a conversation of their own. Elite shit talkers. I think you need to be able to talk some shit to even be in the GOAT conversation. You got to say some stuff. You don't have to be a dick often, but like LeBron will shoehorn, I'm the greatest player of all time. The confidence is there. Even Curry says it sometimes. Obviously, Jordan feels that way. He made a whole docuseries about it. He has 10 different memes why he's the greatest of all time. Oh, this is perfect, by the way. So this transitions to the next train of thought. This is what's so funny about sports. A lot of my listeners and consumers, again, probably found me on TikTok. I'll be quick with this. There was a great trend over the weekend. Many of you probably have seen it. If not, I'll explain it to make it as interesting as possible. There was this awesome TikTok trend called "We're Done with the 90s." Yeah, it's literally a massive wave of people in Gen Z, my age. How old do you think I am, by the way? Quick tangent. Wrong. I'm not going to say what you thought it was. I'm not going to reveal your guess, but no, incorrect. Anyways, back to the point. I'm 24. The era of the 90s, there's this great trend that people were thinking it's horseshit. Like any credibility you have being one of the best in that era, it amounts to peanuts here. It's worth precisely dick compared to the guys playing now because of, well, a lot of tape that was revealed. And I guess if you watch the tape and it's just some random Tuesday night game or some random game in Charlotte, you're like, okay, no one plays any defense. Guys are moving slow. They don't care. Definitely not as athletic as we are now. Stuff like that, right? So, again, there's this guy by the name of Chilltown Hoops. And I'm not here to, gas anybody up except myself. But I'll mention him. He was having a field day because I guess it was his personal challenge. This guy's name is Chilltown Hoops. He's a defender of 90s basketball. I guess he's like the I don't know, the watchful protector of all things slandered towards his era of hoops, right? And so he was just getting cooked going after people, trying to defend the 90s. And I guess one idea is that Michael Jordan just didn't have a very good left hand. Yeah, I don't know how that started, and I don't know how true that is at all. Chilltown Hoops was basically going ballistic, just reading people's comments and ultimately just losing his mind. He made a video where he was just, I challenge you to say that to me in public. I challenge you to tell me in public that Michael Jordan does not have a left hand. I challenge you. I was like, shit. I challenge you to take an aspirin. I challenge you to not get behind the wheel right now. My God, chill out. I mean, for someone who's named Chilltown Hoops, it was very unchill, all of his videos. And I don't, listen, as far as who's better, I mean, the whole argument basically exposes a lot of the GOATs of the 90s that we hold on such a high pedestal. And it pretty much says, well, I don't think Michael Jordan can even be in the same consideration as LeBron, considering who LeBron plays against every night. That was the argument. That was the sole purpose. I don't like to get into who's better, LeBron or Jordan. It's stupid. It's like talking about politics. And I swore to you, I would never go political on the show. I swear to you that. I'm going to hold myself to that. It just divides people, both politics and the Jordan LeBron thing. It divides people no matter what you say. You're not going to convince anyone in one argument. It's just a bunch of bullshit. It really just gets exhausting at the end of the day. However, I did happen to have a couple of instantaneous reactions. For example, I did not know that there was an illegal defense rule where non-shooters were pretty much standing at the three-point line and their defender had to be near them at all times, otherwise a technical would be called. There was no zone defense. There was no help defense. You couldn't put someone in the middle of two defenders to clog up the lane, not the paint, just the lane, until the 2000s. So it was just a bunch of buttons on each other. Everyone was like wearing each other like seatbelts. So Michael Jordan just had to beat one guy to get to the hoop. It was a game of one-on-ones by law. So then it's like, okay, can you beat some schmuck off the bench? I don't know why they let him guard Jordan. But if it was one guy to beat, yeah, you can get 50 a night. You could probably win 6 rings too. Listen, I'm going to tread lightly here because I'm going to lose people. But all I'm saying is it looked like some of the defense these guys were playing belonged at the local YMCA. Some guys looked like they were not mentally there in the first quarter, probably because they're running late. They were stuck in traffic coming from their other job. It does bother me when old heads, people in their 40s and 50s and 60s tell me, and people in my generation, you don't know ball like I know ball. You just don't, because what you see are highlights on YouTube. I was there. I mean, it's not like we saw a different game, right? I mean, were the games different? Am I watching a fake recording? Is this AI? Oh no? It's the same game? Then fuck you. Tell me you were the eye test, your eye test. You just get off your fucking shift at the post office and you're some secret scout. Don't tell me that you were there, you and your crystal ball and your beer gut. have any more advantage than I do with my YouTube. I challenge you to tell me that he doesn't have a left hand. I challenge you to not have a heart attack. My God. Lay off the Funyuns. Go outside. Go for a walk. Fuck. And I'm not going to tell you my opinion on who I think is better between Jordan and LeBron. Obviously, it's LeBron. What I think is there are no greatest of all time players. There are players who are the greatest of their time. Because I just don't think it's fair to say that someone like Michael Jordan is better than someone like Kevin Durant. I mean, because if you put Kevin Durant in the 1990s, who the fuck's going to guard him? He quietly gets 30 points a night right now, going up against the most athletic people this planet has ever seen. As good as he is, as skilled and as lethal offensively this man brings to the court every single night, he still needed the best shooter of all time and multiple Hall of Famers just to win 2 rings. He'll probably never win another ring without Steph Curry. You put him in the 90s, yeah, maybe he wins 6. What about a guy like Paul George? Every player that has a player podcast, they always refer to Paul George as the basketball player prototype. I know I joked about Wemby, but I do mean that Paul George, I mean, he is a balanced breakfast. That guy is 6'8", lethal from 3, insane layup and rim package, elite defender. You put him in the 90s, how many rings is he getting? A lot. There is a high chance he will never win one now, just because of the competition and the quality of the league surrounding him. That's the truth. In fact, he may only get 1 or 2 rings with the help of Kawhi Leonard, fellow Hall of Famer. That's another guy. You put Kawhi in the 90s, Michael Jordan's not sniffing 6. Not unless, of course, they're on the same team. I mean, announcers freaked out when Michael Jordan did this behind the back to his right. In fact, this is the viral clip. Is Michael Jordan, it sounds really simple. He just moves the ball from behind his back with his right hand back to his right hand, and the announcers had an orgasm from the booth. I mean, they freaked out. It was literally like Collinsworth watching Mahomes every play. It was like, oh my God, now here's a guy who's probably a witch, right? That's literally what the announcers back then thought. Granted, it's a new move. I'm sure in 1990, it's not that special now. You put Kyrie Irving back there, he's getting drug tested every night. Not by the league, by the federal government. This guy's an alien in their eyes. Listen, I'm not denouncing Jordan. You'd be an idiot to denounce Jordan. He is great. He has a left hand. He's one of the best of all time. That's why he has a shoe. But is he the best, definitive best of all time? No, of course not. He's the best of his time. I can't say LeBron's the best of all time either. He's the best of his time. Maybe Jokic or Anthony Edwards or Shea, they're going to be the best of their time. I don't know. That's the point of having goats of eras and not goats of eternity. It's a silly thing. Okay, football. Lots of shit has gone down in football. My God. So I don't know how fresh this will be by the time you hear this. So you've probably seen a lot of the big signings by now. Obviously, Russell Wilson, last time we checked in, he was cut from Denver. Now he's on the Steelers. Probably turned Pittsburgh into Schittsburg real quick. I was thinking of phrases that Russell Wilson could use now that he's ripping the black and yellow with the Steelers. You know he's going to come up with something just god-awful, something so cringy that it shouldn't actually be allowed near children. Everything that man does, it's just awful. And it just gives you that chewing on glass, painfully. It's like watching The Office. You know how brilliant The Office was that it made you cringe every time Michael Scott stepped into frame? That's Russell Wilson unintentionally. The Office was purposeful. There was a purpose. Every line, every word on that script was put on trial to make Michael the cringiest person you've ever seen in your life. Russell Wilson is accidentally that guy. It's true. So here's some phrases I'm sure he'll top mine just being naturally cringy. First team all cringe. Obviously, it used to be Broncos country, let's ride. I got a new one. first draft is Steel City, let's ride. I know, a little too on the nose. Steel City, let's meld. Not bad. This is my favorite, though. Steel City, let's rust, which is exactly what's happening in Pittsburgh right now. The 412 is going to poo-poo. Mac Jones is now on the Jaguars bench. He's not going to beat out Trevor Lawrence. And this is not going to be a take that ages bad. I'm telling you, Mac Jones will be a phenomenal backup, provide great insight to everyone on the scout team. He is not going to make an impact on the field. From the regular season, at least, I'm sure he'll be great like Kenny Pickett in the preseason. Speaking of preseason, Kenny Pickett, wow, what a horrific prediction that guy turned out to be. Holy mother of Christ. Everyone thought he was the second coming of Christ last year because he beat a bunch of third stringers who were probably going to get their resumes in order and apply for jobs in finance and real estate, ringing up Colliers and Goldman Sachs after they didn't get the fifth string job. Everyone thought that Kenny Pickett was just the next big thing. And boy, to lose your job to Russell Wilson after getting cut from Denver, that's rock bottom. Derrick Henry is now a Raven. How do you stop that? Run. You don't. Between Lamar and Derrick Henry, you don't. You just pray. You just pray. Lay down, honestly. The Ravens, though, they didn't even address the biggest problem. They didn't. Yeah, the biggest problem the Ravens are going to have is just beating the Chiefs in the playoffs and the refs, especially while Taylor's there. There's no beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. While Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are, no one's beating them. It's like having a guardian angel. You're just not getting through them. Okay, this was fun. Kirk Cousins is now a Falcon. Big Kirko is in the Big A, which means that primetime Kirk Cousins is just going to lose primetime games in Atlanta. Like, I've never bought into the hype of Kirk Cousins. I think he's just a blonde Jimmy Garoppolo. Throws a little bit better of a ball, but just so many turnovers. His contract is absurd, by the way. Like, I think there needs to be something said publicly about quarterbacks and players in general who have bigger contracts than movie budgets. And I'm talking blockbuster movie budget. Kirk Cousins' contract, this is crazy. This is crazy. I don't have it memorized because I'm not a psychopath, but I'm pulling it up right now. Here we go. Kirk Cousins' contract with the Falcons. He signed, this is insane, $180 million contract with $100 million guaranteed. $45 million a year. This guy's won one playoff game. One. And he's making more money than Dune Part 2 cost to make. Dune Part 2 was flawless. Is there anything flawless about Kirk Cousins' game? I don't think so. Big Kirko. Oh, no. No. By the way, Adam Schefter is having crazy amounts of screen time on his phone logged in. It said he had like over 17 hours of screen time on Monday, first day of all this craziness. I'm sure that was real popular with his wife. I mean, there's nothing more attractive than someone giving you the finger. I think we should see more movies, honey. Honey, just a sec. Yeah, I'm sure what you're saying is just so important. I'm sending out a tweet. Like, there's nothing more sexual and attractive than that. Getting put on hold to tweet about other men in tights. Real romantic. What am I saying? He's probably got a beautiful house, and she's definitely used to it by now. I mean, those tall ceilings that she can just wait 30 seconds for him to send a tweet. And then they just go have a good time doing whatever the Schefters do. Okay, this is another story that really caught my eye, and I'm going to be careful with how I talk about this. Well, no, I'm not. I already talked about it on social media. So, going back to the Chiefs, we talked about Taylor Swift a little bit and how they have this guardian angel protecting them in the playoffs. Who's going to protect their fans? That's my question. So, I'm referring to a playoff game. The Chiefs-Dolphins played each other January 13th. That's literally 2 months ago today, when it was minus 27 degrees with wind chill. The forecast said it was going to be -4, got to below zero, well below zero by the time the game started and finished. They're saying people are having multiple digits amputated from severe frostbite. That's right. Dozens of cases of amputation have happened 2 months after the game. Those goddamn ticket prices. I mean, they really cost an arm and a leg nowadays to get in. Damn. Oh, that's tough. I feel for their suffering. I do. Listen, I'm not a complete sociopath. Losing a finger or a toe sucks. It's definitely a playoff game you'll never forget. Oh, that's worse. But the good news, it sounds like no one's died, right? So I can joke about it a little bit. But at the end of the day, I don't want to sound like a dick and why I'm joking about it at all. What the fuck did you expect? Seriously. Like, I'm sorry you lost a finger, but why did you go to the game? You went to a game, a playoff game. Playoffs. Yes. Rah, rah. Yes. They need you. Do they need you there in shorts and a t-shirt? Do they really need you there to get frostbite? Sure, if you bundle up, you got the protective gear and you're moving around, but do they need you to go in a shirt slugging 6 ice cold Bud Lights? Is that what they need? Like that goes back to my gripes with the Midwest. Like, I have so many questions because that opportunity to do that is probably a very popular choice that night. Let's go to the Chiefs playoff game shirtless. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I'm sorry if I sound unsympathetic about this, because I am. I'm not going to get in the way of someone stupid doing something stupid, because I don't want to accidentally fall into that stupid black hole of stupidity. But we're not polar bears. We're human beings. We get chilly in 60 degrees after a light breeze. Whew. You're going to have to explain yourself. Like, shit. Oh, man. Fuck, this sucks. Oh, no. How did you... Well, what happened? How did you lose a finger? Did it get amputated? Yeah, it sure did. I actually had to get this removed after a severe case of frostbite. Oh, no. What were you doing? Were you in Antarctica? No, I was at a football game here in Kansas City. Oh, my God. I didn't know you played football. No. I was watching the game. Yeah, I was there sitting for 4 hours watching the game. Oh, shoot. Were you there against your will? No, I paid for the ticket voluntarily. $500 that I got pre-sale. Oh, shoot. Well, at least they won. Yep, at least they won. Like, that's forever now. At least they won. They won the Super Bowl. So, hooray for you. Beat my Niners. But yeah, that's crazy. Like Taylor Swift was there. Don't tell me she rallied you guys to go. She was in a suite, sweating. She was not at the game with you. Do not sit here and tell me you had the same experience. You did not. If you went to the Chiefs game, you were nowhere in the same universe as Swift that night. She was sweating in a box, eating whatever she wanted, left in an Escalade in a private jet that she flew down the street back to her apartment that she rents, and then she got in a private jet to go to the Starbucks, again, a mile away. That's a little bit different life than most of us have. But, yeah, no. No. Oh, my God. Oh, that was good. Okay, I'm just going to blitz through the last bits of free agency, and then we're going to call it. Austin Eckler, the famous Chargers running back who is just a fantasy wizard, fantasy football. He would get so many targets, garbage time, receptions. I mean, the guy would get 30 points probably in the fourth quarter alone. He is now a Washington Commanders. So Austin Eckler is now a commie. Again, there's no connection to the Communist Party and the Washington Commanders. I just love nicknames. And it just feels so right to call the Washington Commanders the commies. So until they change their name, they're just the commies to me. Another good pickup, and this is great. Okay. This is why sports are so funny. This is why this show exists. So, listener, you don't have to even know who this guy is. I'm just going to explain the situation. There was a defensive back. His name is CJ Gardner Johnson. He used to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's kind of a piece of shit. Very vocal gentleman. He left the team to go play for Detroit. When he left, people were asking him about the city of Philadelphia, a notoriously trash fan base. And I'm not saying that as a 49ers fan. I'm just saying that in general. They're loud and really suck sometimes, and they're exactly what people describe them. Whenever you hear "fuck Philly," it's like, yeah, that's right. Well, CJ Gardner Johnson agrees. So he once said, so people said, how do you feel about the city of Philadelphia? He said, the fans are, in quote, fucking obnoxious. He also said, I can't fucking stand those fuckers. It's perfect. I mean, it's true. The irony is he's back on Philly. So again, he played for Philly, left, said, fuck your fans, obnoxious fuckers, goes to another team, and now he's back on Philly. Oh, did I say fuck? I mean, thank you, fuckers. Like, that is just great. That's great. It seems like they're welcoming him back with open arms, which is honestly pretty Philly of them to do. This must be a term of endearment, just saying, fuck you, fuckers. I love you. Yeah, that's Philly. But I don't feel bad for CJ Gardner Johnson at all. I don't put this move past him whatsoever as well. I don't really feel for the guy. He's made a couple other big blunders in his life before, such as when they played the Niners, when he was a Detroit Lion in the NFC Championship. The Lions had a little bit of a lead. They just scored. It was 21-7. And he waved goodbye to the crowd. Like, goodbye, GG's, this game's over. In the second quarter. The second quarter. Are you mad? Are you insane? Do you know how much time is left in the game? You understand now, if you blow this game, there is no shaking that off. That is tattooed to your legacy. You wave goodbye to an away crowd, and you lost the game. Oh, Jim, I don't know. That's tough. Tough one to shake. Yeah, I don't really feel bad for CJ Gardner Johnson whatsoever. He can deal with the Philly fans hating him, loving him, whatever that weird family tree is over there. Okay, you know what? I don't care when this episode gets heard. I'm sure some other big stuff will happen, will continue to happen. I won't be able to report it all, and no matter when you listen to me, it may be done anyways. One thing's for sure, the Cowboys still suck. Tonight's Tuesday night, and as of now, they've made 0 moves. 0 in the free agency. Not even one, just 0 moves, which is hilarious. Here's something I know will be evergreen. I'll say this. I could say this right now, and it's a correct statement. This is just reporting the facts. Like, you can clip this moment now, and when this happens, it will be right. And it's easy. Watch this. Are you ready? The Cowboys have been eliminated from the playoffs. Boom. There's your clip. Just sit on that for 10 months, and you got yourself front page story. That's a Monday morning headline. The Cowboys have been eliminated from the playoffs. Might be plagiarism, though. Could be copyright infringement. It's the same headline used for the past 5 years. Maybe you could throw the word early exit, make it your own words. It's probably someone else's work, though. You getting my memo here? The Cowboys have always sucked. And it will always be evergreen that they suck. And if they get eliminated from the playoffs, that ages well. A lot of stuff I may say on here, I really hope it ages well. I mean, that's something that will age just fabulously. It's like Paul Rudd and Hugh Jackman having a dinner date. Like, look at those 2 tall glasses of wine over there. Those gentlemen are just aging perfectly. Now, here are 2 guys that age just phenomenally. I hate to say it, but they aged a little bit better than me. That's for sure. Yeah, no shit. All right, that's it for me tonight, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We got a great show coming up in the near future. We will have guests more often on this show, so I'll be talking to people. The next episode, we'll have a guest. We'll definitely focus a lot on March Madness. Don't know how to organically close the show yet. I'm not one to write something and then force it into existence. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I think for now, we'll just let Chris Collinsworth conclude the show. Chris, you want to take it away? Now here's, oh my God, I regret actually giving you the microphone.